Hi guys, this is the Work Your Money podcast with host Michelle Wong, and I have an amazing guest today. I am super excited. He is the former junior middleweight champion. His name is Paul Vaden, a native from San Diego. Hi Paul, how are you?
How you doing, Michelle?
I am doing good. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a retired world boxing champion. Interesting thing about me in boxing, at the time of 4 years old, I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I wanted to be. I saw a man, Muhammad Ali, on TV as a child, and I wanted to be him. And so I got started on that journey at 8 years old. And I was a mama's boy, so it was like you wouldn't think that I would be a person that would be a boxer. I mean, I was always around my mom. My mom didn't want me to get dirty and things like that. So I had to kind of really prove to my father that I really wanted to box when I had this avenue at the Jackie Robinson YMCA here in San Diego. And he gave me this 2-week trial. I always say I think that because he thought that me being an 8-year-old that I would quit and want to do something else. But once I got the avenue and once I had the outlet at the Jackie Robinson YMCA, I was all in and started on my journey to becoming a boxing champion.
Wow, that's amazing. And today is your anniversary, is that correct?
Yes, it is. 22 years ago today, I fulfilled my prophecy of becoming a world boxing champion. Next to my son being born, it's probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to me because when you fulfill something like that, like I said, at 4 years old, and those dreams come true through hard work, dedication, discipline, and what have you. It develops you to think and believe that you can do anything. So that's what it did for me, and it still does for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's amazing. I think that was a sign for us to come together and have this interview and give the listeners the insight of what it's like to be a person that had all of that drive and determination to go out and become a boxer, and not just any boxer, but also being a champion at that. And here you are celebrating your anniversary. How is that? Like, I know that sometimes it's hard to describe the feeling, but kind of give us a little bit of a glimpse of like what your feelings are just from like when that happened 22 years ago to now. Like, give us a little bit of like a recap of like your feelings like on a day-to-day on that.
It's a great question. I actually just got off the phone with my boxing coach because I always like to pay homage to everyone. My boxing coach was a top contender, and he never got the opportunity to vie for a world title fight. Very good boxer. And so when I got the opportunity and I won, it was like him winning as well. Think that, in addition to that, leading into that, I also proposed to the individual that I would marry 2 weeks prior to me boxing for the world title. I was crazy in love, and this was just and I was an individual that was so dedicated to my sport that I really I didn't have relationships and things like that. My relationship was boxing, the obsession with excellence, and I tried my hardest not to let anything get in the way of that. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself, and so I'm so happy that I met the individual that I did marry. We're no longer, we were married for 10 years, but when I was driving today, I'm just so thankful that I shared that journey, that she was the one that shared it with me, because I didn't lose the purpose, the drive, the discipline, because like I said, the obsession with excellence, you have to still have tremendous outcomes, and I did. So I'm just taking it all in, meaning like, started last night. I mean, you know, thinking about the weigh-in. I mean, when you think about boxing, it's just not getting in the ring. There's such a science to boxing. It's not like there's two individuals getting in just throwing at each other, at least the way I boxed. It's a beginning and a middle end process. You have to be technically correct, which I believe I was. My skill sets were my speed, my stamina, and I was very strategic and patient. And eventually, I wanted to take you to deep waters, and I'm going to get you there. And then you're going to see that my performance gets even stronger as each stanza goes on. And so I take that all into account today. I'm just thinking about, like I said, the commitment to having to lose. I was a very tall junior middleweight, so I was, you know, losing 30 to 35 pounds in a month, you know, eating and drinking once a day for 30 consecutive days. So when you think about those commitments, it parlays into the way you know, it just doesn't stay in the boxing room with me. It's the way I kind of live life: committed, disciplined, loyal, and about it. Meaning that I just don't talk about it; I'm truly about it, and so genuine about it. So I'm just taking all that in, and you know, and I'm in my thankfulness, but also understanding. A champion always knows there's a next level, and I'm always working for that next level. That has never stopped with me. I mean, there's a continuum that I have to keep growing and keep reaching for. And so when I became champion, as I was getting closer, I understood I had a bigger world that I had to obtain. And those are the things that I'm doing today. But winning the world title, believe me, was something that... it's a great thing to have with me, because there's not a whiteout or an eraser that can remove what's been done.
Wow. And because of all of that hard work and just being disciplined, it led to great performance, because you had 16 knockout victories. Wow, that's
Correct.
Amazing. And to have a record like that and showing other boxers what you can do, you know, that's leaving a legacy. You're basically a role model for those people that are coming into the whole profession. So what is your take on that?
I think it's very, very important. My father always told me what goes around comes around. So I do what's been done before me, and what's not been done for me, I want to make sure that I don't do what wasn't done. So what I mean by that is, like I said, Muhammad Ali was a role model for me. And so watching him, reading about him, studying him, gave me avenues to build how I wanted to be, the kind of performer I wanted to be. I never wanted to be like anyone else. I never wanted someone, and to this day, where it's, oh, you remind me of like Chuck. And if you tell me that, I'm going to say, well, I've got my work cut out. I've got to do my work, because I'm not trying to be like Chuck. I want to be something that you can't comprehend, that you can't put your finger on, but you understand that it's ultra effective. So it's important that, because there were people who helped me along the way in my beginning of my boxing career, even during my time, that took time to show me how to be a professional, show me how to strive for perfection, how to get better, that I always have to be open to help others and be that, like you said, that example, that role model, and just always be there for people. As I told you, as I started to see this world that I'm trying to obtain, my gift was boxing, but my niche is people. So how can I administer what I do very, very well to get through to people, influence people, and spur people on to get to that same place that they need to go, the same place that they need to be.
I hear you. And let me tell you, you're a great role model for all of those people out there that are trying to pursue getting into the whole boxing profession. And the other thing too is that when you're going into this type of sport, and correct me, and you can always jump in and feel free to give your stance on it, but some of those people, when they go in, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They only know one aspect of it, and that's performing and being able to go into the ring and fight the other opponent. But they don't know everything else that has to fall into place, meaning what is going to be your future plans. And I guess because any athlete in particular, they always have their mind on just going out, performing, and through those performances, they'll get paid. But at the same token, they don't see the bigger picture of what can be the possibilities that can happen during your journey. Because sometimes things happen prematurely, and they don't have, you know, another option, another outlet for them. Or people within the industry do not go out of their way to either give them knowledge, advise them, and then they get lost. And you know, and it's very unfortunate that it does happen, you know, to those people. But you know, you always have to have something else as well while you're going through the journey, because you don't know what can happen. And you're a great role model. You connect with people. People connect with you. You have a great track record with your former profession, and now you're going out and doing other things as well. So, you know, what is your take overall with the industry, and you know how things are evolving? Do you see it similar to back in the day when you first started, or do you see it changing? Like, what is your take on that?
Well, to kind of go backwards, and I think it's where you're going as far as having an options, as far as you know, other options. So people ask me the question, they go, "What would you have done if you had not become champion of the world?" And my answer is always, "I had to be." Meaning that I had to be. For me, there was no other option. Now let me clear that up. I have put so much work into getting to this place in the way I see my script being played out. Now remember, there's always someone who thinks that, oh, you should do this. Now I was the individual that the pundits, boxing pundits, thought that I was not focused because I had other loves, you know, entertainment, all these other things, and they had this traditional thought of what a boxer should be and what he should look like, what he should act like, what he should be like. Mm-hmm. And once again, going back to what I was just saying, I don't want to be Chuck. I'm Paul Vaden, and how do I build Paul Vaden? Like I said, well, you can't define me and put me in a certain place, but you could put me in almost any place, and I'm going to be able to get down for you and do well. So in order to do that, that means I have to be moved, and I also have to move towards other things and be stimulated by the process of that. So although I say I had to be champion and there was no other option, I put so much work into trying to become a world boxing champion that, and I'm just going to say this, if it had not happened, I would have been, and I just looks like I will be successful in anything I aspire to put myself, immerse myself into. So, and that's just that strong believability of my standards or what have you. So, you know, it's not just boxers. I mean, it's athletes. You know, it's people. They have a goal. They say they're going to go to school and they're going to become this. And let's say they hit a curve or they you know, get thrown off the highway on something and they don't find their way back to or at least direct themselves to another area for the time being that can get them back at home and where they're still proficient at what they're doing, and they're still evolving, and then possibly they can get either back to the place and the original place, or they could find a new strong possibility as far as where they're trying to go. I got, like I said, what I was being lambasted for in the early stages of my professional career, now, I mean, people are kind of understanding that I was evolving. And was I focused? I was ultra focused. When people ask, how many hours do you practice a day and you know, in boxing? And I said, I was always at practice, meaning that even when I wasn't physically in the gym, I was mentally in the gym. I was, you know, at a stoplight. I was thinking about certain specifics about how I could be better. When I was running in the morning, I was seeing myself not only winning, but I saw myself overcoming. I just got knocked down. How do I work myself? How do I get up and come back? So I was putting myself in these situations where I had to come from the storm and make it through the storm and overcome everything and prevail. So that's a part of life, and to kind of go back to, again, what you said, the fact when people ask, they go, what happens when the lights go out? Meaning the lights as far as they dim because you're no longer in that level of athletic. And my answer, my counterpunch is always, they don't have to. Because if you build a champion, once a champion, always a champion. And if you build on that and you know, someone like myself, I mean, I have a story. I have things to tell. I have intangibles that people want. I mean, you know, you can't, this is a level that, I mean, and I'm not being cocky saying this, but it's just it's a whole nother level as far as how to go and grab something and you know, how to go get something, how to win that round. And there's just another level of tenacity that a champion has that I can't even, right now I'm sitting here and I'm getting hyped up about delivering. And so, it's just it's a whole nother level. But like I just told you at the beginning, there's also another level. So you're always trying to elevate yourself. And that, when that happens, other platforms, other avenues, other things open up. And if the other individuals are smart, they'll want to nab that. They'll want to nab that because you can't, my hands, I mean, are still fast, but they're not as fast as they were when I was, you know, in my 20s. And you know, and so you can't box forever. You can't perform forever, but you can do what needs to be done, and by the same token, first off, try to be the greatest person that you can to people, because as what goes around comes around, and you never know how you treat people may come back to you positively and negatively. So that's what I try to do. I try to leave a mark on people where they can kind of go, you know what, that guy was, you know, always doing this, and he was kind to me and whatever. That's in school and everything. You know, he wasn't no bully. He was always nice to me, because you never know. Michelle, you're always being interviewed. You're always being interviewed. You never know how that's going to come back to your script and can have a positive or negative effect on you.
I totally agree with you. Listen, for me, those outstanding athletes, the ones that really shine, if you go and sit with them and ask them what is their routine, what is it they do on the day-to-day, they are on their day-to-day grind. They're always out and they're always practicing and perfecting their craft. And that's what sets them apart from other athletes. I'm not saying that the other athletes are not as good as them. It's just that they have disciplined themselves enough to just focus on what is in front of them. And the other thing too is that when you want something bad enough, you'll go out and find a way to get it or to do it.
Absolutely.
And it's all about mindset. And the other thing too is that people lose focus of where they came from. I've seen individuals where they go and rise to the top and they forget where they came from. If it's that they came from humble beginnings or they came from a not so glamorous, quote unquote, you know, beaver family life, they tend to, you know, kind of give this illusion of something that it's not. or they soon forget the people that help them along the way to get to the top, because you always have people that support you, and they see that talent that you have, and they'll do whatever they can to help you along the way. Those are the people that you should never forget, because those are the people that brought you there. On top of your own, your own performance. And it saddens me when I see certain individuals that are in the limelight doing that. And it's like, why are you forgetting where you came from? You should never forget where you came from. You should always remember the people that helped you along the way. You should always contribute back to your community, because that's the foundation that really got you to where you are. And I see that all the time, but I also see the ones that are very grateful and they're very appreciative, and they go and they do what they can to give back. And those are the people that I love, because it's really about us being able to help each other out. It's really about the love that we should be giving each other to help us get to where, we all need to go. And, it's just, to me, I think that's like very important, is to be able to go do what you need to do, get where you need to be, but also at the same token, you should always leave that door open for the next person that is coming in behind you. Leave that door open and help that person as well. And all the other people that helped you along the way, because those are the ones that really got you, they helped you along in your journey.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. You don't know the effect that you can have on an individual, and I can only put myself, me going back to me being a child. Like I said, boxing at 8 years old, and watching the late great Archie Moore come into my gym and spend time. Not only that, his family coming back to the gym and donating things, be it gloves, a boxing ring, or what have you, or just anything, sign an autograph. And I've actually had an opportunity to see both ways, meaning the individuals who have done, and the ones, like you just said, who kind of forget, and then, they become too great to come back, or, spend time, or have a phone call to a kid who possibly is either doing bad in school but has a lot of talent, and he's going to blow an opportunity, or just give people higher hope. And so I believe, giving back to me is an obligation. It's part of that package that I was talking about, as far as obtaining that world and going to where I need to go. It is always have that reflex to give back, to make time, and it's something that like I said, that it's an obligation. So you don't know the effect, though, that by you saying something to someone, or spending time, where it can take that individual and they will remember it. Because like I said, here I am, God willing, I'll be 50 at the end of this year, and I can literally remember the certain people, literally, that have been there for me in my, the genesis of my boxing career, or at a time when I was, at an area where I need to go to the next level, and they took time to give me advice, or just be there, or give me show me something technically that I could be doing well to get better. And to me, that really tells you the measure of individuals. And people are going to tell you how great you are. But as far as you always have people telling you how great you are. But the greatest people are the ones that take time to be there for people. And the people who are my role models and who have helped shape me during my career, like I said, Muhammad Ali, they did that. That's all you ever hear about. Not just the talent, but how they were as far as being there for people.
No, and you're spot on. You're spot on. And You know, before we went on air a few weeks back, we were having a talk and we were getting to know each other. And, you know, I felt that we had clicked right away because you're such a down-to-earth person. You know, you gave me a little bit of insight of you as a person, apart from you as being a professional athlete. And, you know, it's amazing how you have such passion for going out and making those connections with people. And the other thing, too, is that you have a great platform because you're a celebrity, you're a public figure, and you're out in the public, and you have a platform. And having this platform to be able to discuss specific topics that can benefit people around you, that people can have that impact of what you say, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, you know, once again, as you grow and as you listen, as you absorb, as you work, you start to build your story. And then the more you believe in yourself and in the process, the bigger the story becomes, the more triumphant the story becomes. Everything is not, and obviously my career has proven that, everything is not going to be hunky-dory. Everything is not going to be peaches and cream. There's going to be some road bumps. There's going to be some tremendous storms that, you know, are going to come your way. But that's, you know, I'm always about separation. It's kind of like I call it the Usain Bolt. How do I separate, you know, and what's going to separate me from the next individual? You know, that's why I don't sleep a lot. I mean, you know, I shouldn't say that, but I don't sleep a lot because I'm always up because I'm so consumed with trying to be great and greater and just be better and how can I get the edge and how can I grow and what's there that I can't even sleep. I mean, you know, it's like I try and the next you know an idea comes. And so it's that level of wanting to take things to that next level. And so the connection as far as, you know, to people, once again, believing in the story is, you know, how to help people and how, you know, how can I just be a pioneer to help people become better and allow them to win and spur them on, and like I said, rescue them sometimes when they're in specific storms and from the storm to hope. And that's pretty much what I've understood. Is my purpose wasn't just about boxing. Boxing was the vehicle. And, you know, so that kind of tells me what would I have done if I had not become a world boxing champion. Well, this journey has led me to understand that what I do best is dealing with people in every aspect, meaning rescuing them, uplifting them, escalating the areas where they currently are, because remember, I believe there's always a next level, and I work in that process, that there is another level of believability, that there's another level that I've never arrived, so I try to condition others to have that same type of mindset, and just being there for people. So if you really think about it, if you're there for people, that means you never forget about people. You never forget about where you came from. And you're always thinking, okay, you check that box off, and you always think like, what's next? It's not like, I never think like, oh, I fulfilled my quota. It's like, okay, I've got time. What else can I do? What more can I give?
No, and listen, I totally get you. I think that's the reason why we clicked right away. Life is about giving yourself challenges. If you overcome one challenge and you succeed at it, then you go on to the next thing, the next part of a challenge. And while you're doing that, you're also going through an evolution, a self-evolution. You're always going to grow as a person. You're always going to learn something as a person. And you're also, if you have that knowledge, you're always going to teach someone else. It's a circle. You know, whatever we learn from someone else, we in turn can teach someone else as well. And, you know, for me, when I see other people succeeding, I become ecstatic, because I see that their potential, their better part of themselves is shining. And it's even a greater feeling when you are the person that helped that other individual to get to that point. That's even a more greater feeling. Not so much because of anything else, it's because it's knowing that you did something to influence the other individual to get to where they had to go. And there's there's this great satisfaction of being able to see that in people. And I think that for me, when I communicate with people, I love, one, to know about their life story, because knowing someone's journey, because each one of us have a different story to tell. So knowing someone's journey of where they came from and where they're at and where they want to go is always interesting to me. And then the second thing is that when I know where they're at and where they can go, I look within myself and say, what can I do to help this person get to that level? And it's just about the connection, you know, because all of us as individuals have the ability to shine and deserve to shine. I don't take away from anybody that has great things going on with them. I'm the opposite. I always, you know, I'm always happy for them. And if I can do something on a positive to get them to that level, I'll do what I can within me to do that. And knowing that they succeeded and they went to that to get there, that's even a better feeling. And I think that certain individuals lose sight of that. I think that, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even in sports, sometimes athletes become very competitive on certain aspects. And I don't think that it should be like that. It's you put your best foot forward, you did what you needed to do. And if you had that opportunity to shine, then let them shine. You know what I'm saying? Like Muhammad Ali had his moments, and everybody always praises him, has a lot of respect. Why? Because he left a legacy behind. He left opportunities for other individuals to come in and also have their moment. And those people that also had their moment to shine, they're leaving their legacy as well. And then it's the next, you know, it's the next generation and the generation after that. So there's moments that, yes, all of these people are having their moments to shine, and there should not be that competition or that envy that sometimes gets carried over.
To kind of go on, and you're getting in a good place right there with what you just brought up, because a lot of times I get people who will come up to me and they'll say, oh, you know, boxing is, you know, this is my specific sport. Boxing is not like it was when you were boxing, you know, and you know, they ask me my opinions on boxing today. And I have this, I mean, and this is true. I mean, that talent is never ending. I mean, it's never ending. It continues. I mean, the talent today is consistently growing. You know, the kids are, you know, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more athletic, and it's just, there's so many things. It doesn't change. My time, believe me, when I was out believe me, someone was saying that when I was out, that the time before me was better than the time when I was, the current thing. So talent is never ending. Now, don't get me wrong, you have the individuals like of course Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and individuals like that come along, and those are once in a lifetime, people. We won't see that kind again. We just won't. It's just like, performers. I mean, music performers, we will never see particular certain talent again. We just, but the talent is never ending. So I enjoy watching. I will not become that embittered former champion who's, throwing onslaughts of negativity towards the current state of boxing today. I celebrate it, and I love seeing talent. I just do. I love seeing talent in anything. I love seeing people achieve. I love seeing people win. So I'm not going to play the haterade game and talk about, this current champion against me. People used to ask me, what do you think? What are you thinking when you see certain boxers today when you're and you're watching boxing? I always say I'm glad that I'm sitting where I am, because I wouldn't be able to hang with the current crop of talent. I'm comfortable in the place and what I've done and what I've been able to achieve, and how I'm still evolving, and how I'm still I still have that strong pulse in doing the things that I'm doing separately away from boxing. If you notice, it was very important that once I was done with this part of my script, that I got totally away from it, but I kept all the intangibles and used them, made strong usage of them, into making it beneficial to everything that I'm doing today. So I'm very thankful for that part of my script, that part of my life, that part of my journey. But I sure as heck also I appreciate the talent and the skilled boxers that are out today, and I watch it, like I said, and I'm very, very impressed. I'm not in this term a hater.
And that's the perfect example of what I was saying before, and what I've always stated to people when I'm on the show, or even outside when I'm talking to people, in events or just one-to-one with people in general. There's a uniqueness in the athletes. Muhammad Ali, you have Sugar Ray Leonard, you have what's his name, Pacquiao. These are individuals, and you have great talent there. They all have left something behind. They left a legacy. And nobody can take that away. Nobody can say, well, this person is better than this person. No, you can't do that. You can't take away that respect from that person, because that person has dedicated their life to go out and be the best that they can be. So you cannot take that away from them. Not anyone can take that away from them. They can't take that away from you either. But it's leaving opportunity for the other people, the other generation after, to be able to come in. It's leaving that door open for the people to come in. So I don't think it should be necessary for those particular individuals to have that, to think, well, I'm the only one. No, you're not the only one. There are always going to be other people coming in after you. And you can't do comparisons of this the time as well and say, well, this time is better than this time. No, it's each era had outstanding athletes, and take that for what it's for what it is, and don't try to make those comparisons. And when I sit there and I hear sometimes, I guess it's more the men than the women, more men, because men are into the sports and they talk about this player and that player and this athlete, that athlete. You have to also bear in mind that there are outstanding athletes that performed in different times in history. So don't take that away from them. I don't think that people should do that or make comparisons and say, well, this person is not this person. You know, you can't compare. You can't do that because we're individuals.
Right.
Nobody can compare you to another boxer. Why? Because you are unique. You are that person. Just like they're unique and they're that person. And, you know, that's how trouble starts sometimes, because there's that back and forth. And, you know, it's an opinion. But it's just that. It's an opinion. It's not a factual thing. You have these great individuals going out, doing their best. They're being the best. Don't take that away from them. Don't compare them to another person, because it's comparing to individuals. It's not fair.
Michelle, I'll be honest with you. I'm more apt to basically give the nod to people before me because and I'm just talking about personally me, like because they have been part of the process of my evolution. You know, as far as they were the people that helped me get up in the morning. They were the people that gave me certain recipes, and I watched them endlessly, you know, like video of them perfecting the craft and was able to add to my showmanship as a boxer. So I'm always after, and I've always been in this posture that I'm not worthy. Now, let me be clear. I'm very, very confident on what I was able to do and stand up against anyone. However, that's just always been my posture, just to pay homage, respect to the people. You know, like you heard me just say, like the Sugar Ray Leonards, you know, the Marvin Haggards, the Roberto Durans, people before me. Now, that's not saying any, you know, I just have that high level of respect because what they rendered was so. It was just unbelievable, but it was also very inspirational because it moved me to a place that, you know, I'd watch Sugar Ray Leonard and then it would lead me to the gym. You know what I mean? It would get me out of my seat and go, I got to go to the gym at 8:30 in the morning, even though practice is in the summer at 4 p.m. because I got to get better, and I'm so inspired by this individual. That level of craftsmanship and science and the level of boxing, it allowed me to leap out of my seat to go work out and get better. So I'm always kind of, you know, and I'm cool with that because I'm also, remember, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on anyone. I really respect what everyone has. To get in the ring, first off, I respect you, period. Meaning, because you're exposing yourself to potential humiliation before a sea of people. That's not the easiest thing to do, to step through those ropes. And like I said, put yourself before a sea of people and potentially be embarrassed, humiliated, defeated, potentially, God forbid, hurt. And so I respect you immediately, but when you have that level of just the technical aspect and you have that it factor, I'm always, you know, and like I said, those individuals, even, you know, Floyd Mayweather Jr., I mean, he's that has that same type of greatness where you go, you look and you see an individual do things and you go, it's effortless, and you go, wow, how did he do that? How is he able to throw that second right hand like a jab in succession? And you know, I can't do that. But I also know there's certain other things that I do extremely well that have allowed me to go to places that I needed to go and seek to go. So, but I'm pretty respectful to just my past, and even like I said, the ultra great talents like Floyd Mayweather. But you're absolutely right. But that's athletics, period. You know, that's LeBron, Michael Jordan. That's you can take it in every place. You have these barbershop talks about, you know, they try to take away from the greatness or the talent of, you know, the individual today and you know, say before this individual, you know, you would think they never lost before. You would think that they've never, you know, missed a shot. They never missed a game-winning shot and what have you. And so, but I don't know. I just celebrate talent. I love talent, but I love seeing people win. But I'm really, I like talent.
No, and I totally agree with you. That's why I keep saying over and over again that I think that's why we connected so quickly, is because you have we do see eye to eye. We are very similar in that sense, and you know, we're all individuals. We are all trying to coexist. We're all trying to shine in our own way with our talents, our natural talents, and why take it away from those people? I would say praise them. I say give them respect. It takes a lot to go in there day in and day out, put your body through a lot of, you know, to have the endurance to go through all that physical activity. Then on top of that, you have to go into the ring and you have to go through so many rounds with the other opponent, and you know, and then sometimes it gets a little tiresome because you're going back and forth. You're doing your job, and please do not criticize me because I'm you know, a little I'm an amateur when it comes to the whole boxing stance, but you know, you're throwing your punches. The other opponent is throwing punches, and you're going through all those rounds, and you know, it gets tiresome. But you're there. You're doing it. I can't not go and criticize the person in front of me because that person is going out in the public, like you said, and you're going through all of that physical activity. So, if anything, I'm giving a lot of respect and a lot of praise for them. You know,
you would think, but we live in, unfortunately, we live in a world that has opinions, and a lot of times the opinions are not so kind, and it's out to denigrate what an individual is aspiring to achieve, and like I said, put them under the water versus giving them out of the water and elevating them to hope. So that's what I'm talking about as far as that. And back to what you were, you know, you're talking about. Prince wrote a song a while ago. The legend Prince, a song called "Joy and Repetition," and Joy and Repetition is, you know, I'm a Michael Jackson guy, but Prince's song I like because I do have joy and repetition. Repetition as far as doing things that are going to lead me to become great. The combinations that you would see me perform were not just something, you know, those things were done in succession over and over and over. And I mean, through rounds. I mean, I know Floyd Mayweather does his 30 minutes through, you know, doing this. I used to do my 45 minutes straight through, because I knew there would be a time under the light that I would need to perfect these combinations, and they would have to be just as strong in the end as they were in the beginning, and fast as they were in the beginning. Joy and repetition, and you have to have an attitude, a mindset to have joy in doing things repetitively. Because what's the word that most people say when you tell them to do something again? They go, again, as opposed to saying, okay, you have that look, that posture going, okay, you want some more. And that's the way, you know, as far as boxing, when you get up off the stool, it's always important for me to be off that in between that 1 minute rest, to be off 10, 12 seconds before my opponent, because mentally they're going, gosh, I'm here taking up every second before the bell rings, and this guy's already up waiting for me, awaiting me, and he's consistently getting stronger and stronger, and I'm getting more and more tired, and yet I'm still sitting, getting every second I can on that stool. This guy is still up, awaiting me. That's a mentally deflating process. That's that whole deep water thing. How does that happen? That's because of joy and repetition. And
that's an important factor. Is always
and everything. That's not just boxing. That's not just athletics. That's business. That's life. That's everything.
Yes.
Joy and repetition. You know, the baby's crying, and you know, and it's easier said than done. You go, well, joy in repetition. Joy in repetition is everything. It becomes how you live, how you think.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And yes, that's exactly how the mindset is on a day to day. If it's life, if it's business, you always have to go and put in your grind, day in, day out, day in, day out. That's the only way that you can be successful in what you do. Now let's gear a little bit outside of this for a bit. Paul, do you have any projects coming up, or do you have any projects you want to share with our listeners?
I'm always, right now, currently I have a documentary short film, Vaden Versus, which has been playing at various film festivals throughout the globe. The cool thing about it, I also do quite a few special screenings for particular corporations and organizations as well. So that's right now, that's been my baby. That's been going on, follow up, with speech and Q&A. And it actually deals with a time of my life, a period of my life when I was dealing with the storm of my life and how I had to find my championship life, how I had to rediscover it. So it goes through that process of the dream, but how I was able to find my way back home. And because I'm better than ever, stronger than ever. And so that's, Vaden Versus, like I said, is right now. I do quite a bit of speaking, to different corporations, once again, about winning, the formulas, the recipes, how to stay current, how to not become complacent, how to not settle, how to be obsessed with excellence. Like I said, the obsession with excellence. So those are the things I like to talk about, but enjoying the process. Living versus existing. Forgetting, remembering to breathe. You have no idea how I went through a period of my life where I forgot to breathe and the importance of breathing. That's one of the things when I do a lot of my mentoring, or when I'm talking to people one-on-one, CEOs, and they're going through particular storms or just through challenges. And I'm always saying, okay, breathe. Because why do I talk about that? Because all my life has been in between that 1 minute, in between rounds, is breathing. So I can get myself back at one and be able to answer the bell in a proper fashion better than I did the round before. So, once again, my thing is pioneering and like I said, speaking to people, influencing people, and trying to help people win and be better than they've ever been before.
Wow, Paul, I have to say, you said a mouthful, and I'm loving it. I'm so excited with this whole documentary, and for people to get insight of your journey, and to see your journey from where you were at that point of obstacles that came in your way, and then to be able to overpass that and be able to be successful, because you are always successful. And individuals tend to forget that because obstacles come in your way, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It means that those obstacles are preparing you for greater things to come. And if you can survive that obstacle that comes in your way, you would be able to survive anything. It's making you stronger, and it makes you a better individual, and it makes you see certain things, I guess in a different way, and and then you're better prepared for other things that come your way.
I say it's also a way to make your story become even more triumphant. I mean, and so, when you tackle this storm as opposed to just relenting, when you get over this and you get through this, your story just becomes, the opportunity to make your story even more triumphant for the masses. And when you get through these things, but you have to get through them. And so You're right. So that's pretty much, that's pretty much the process. My book, Answer the Bell and Bending Your Life as a Champion, kind of talks about that process as far as, how to deliver when you're on the highway and you can't find the way. You're not back at one yet. You're just on the highway existing. And like I said, forgetting certain things like breathing and having that mindset of a champion. I've been wanting to be this champion all my life, and for a small period, I was thinking like a challenger, thinking like not even a contender, but like a challenger. So I had to remember the things that I had implemented in my life. Of course, my son, at the time who was 3, he brought me back at 1. He inspired me to I didn't want him to have to hear about the things that his father was, but I wanted to get back so he could know how his dad made his way back at 1 and what he is today and still doing. It was very important to me. And so it's amazing what will inspire you to get off those ropes. And I'll say this, just because you're on the ropes, and I prove this in boxing, doesn't mean you can't be effective. Doesn't mean you stop fighting off the ropes. Doesn't mean you can't be productive and fight off those challenges until you find your way back into the center of the ring. Just because you're on the ropes doesn't mean I can't be effective off the ropes and fight off those ropes, those challenges, until I get back into the center of the ring.
Amen.
That's life as well.
Amen. 100%. Paul, for our listeners out there, where can they find you?
It's so funny. Well, I mean, I'm on Facebook a lot. It's Paul Vaden. I'm on Instagram. I'm Paul_Vaden. I'm on Twitter at Answer the Bell. My website, answerthebell.com. Those are, and then I have, Paul at answerthebell.com is my email address, Paul at answerthebell.com. But answerthebell.com, my website, and the other, like I said, social media outlets. And I try, like I said, just like I just told you, I try to answer people, because like I said, my niche is people. So I don't talk to you on the phone right now and have this conversation and then remove myself from people. I'm reclusive, but I also understand my obligation. I love talking and having some form of communication with people and helping people. So what I talk about, I am about.
Awesome. So guys, for you guys out there who want to listen in on our podcast, it's workyourmoney.net. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That would be Work Your Money Podcast. And that's it, everyone. Paul, it was a great pleasure to have you on the show. I was completely amazed of everything that you were sharing with us. It gives a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation for those people out there. I know that I'm very motivated. There's a lot of energy there. And you guys, I want you to take something away from what Paul has just said. Use it on...
God bless you, Michelle. Michelle, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the opportunity and having this conversation, which I really am. It's third day in my life. I really enjoyed it. So I thank you for your time as well.
Thank you, Paul. So guys, until the next time, this is the Work Your Money Podcast.